Imagine being at the top of your sport, Olympic medals, national titles, one of the best in the world at what you do. And then you share one piece of news. You're starting a family. And suddenly your income drops by 70% or disappears altogether. In 2019, we thought that story had changed. We watched some of the biggest names in running force brands to rewrite the rules. But in 2026, marathoner Emma Bates found herself right back in the middle of the same conversation. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the I Don't Know Running podcast, where we share our experiences that make running fun and sometimes not so fun. I'm Lewis.
And I'm Mitch. So today I want to talk about something that doesn't show up in the race results, the pregnancy penalty, and whether it ever really went away.
By the sounds of this, it did. Or it's still being negotiated with other companies.
I think we're still learning and hopefully getting better, right?
Yeah, definitely learning and definitely rewriting some rules or some expectations by companies. This is a little different, as we discussed prior to hitting record, than your local place that you work at.
And it's a tough one to talk about.
Yeah.
Because you have an opinion either way, and we have to really do our best to be completely neutral. So we'll let listeners decide on how they feel about this. And try to stay in the middle. We'll definitely show up some of our opinion on either side.
Yeah, number one, let's say this. We're in support of Emma Bates. We're in support of women doing the brunt of work of creating a family. We get that. 100%. We are off the hook as men. We get to continue doing what we do. As you said, we have a very major responsibility to the family.
Yes.
It's not like we just, woohoo, we're out of here.
But we are not the one having babies.
Right. We're not the one doing the hard part.
And there's nothing that changes that. There's nothing that you can talk about or change that. Women have babies and it is hard on their bodies. We can't change that. That's the reality.
So we're going to present some information here on what has happened recently to Emma Bates, who announced she's pregnant and starting a family, and what happened with one of her major sponsors, UCAN.
Yeah.
And what her new major sponsor is.
Right.
So let's first of all rewind a little bit. 2019, there was a quote unquote breaking point. I didn't know about this. You brought this up about Kara Goucher. I mean, I kind of heard a little bit, but I didn't really follow it.
I just remember when this happened.
But you said she came back too soon, probably because
she felt the pressure of making money.
Yeah.
So I think it was really, really hard on her.
And I think that if you are in just about any sport and you're getting paid to do that sport, there is a major decision to be made.
Yeah.
If you want to have a family, you're going to have to put your athleticism,
and your livelihood, like how you make money. Yeah.
Essentially on hold.
It's a weird thing. It's not like a job where you're making this, and we have laws now that have come a long ways where, hey, I get to take time off for maternity leave.
Or paternity leave for men.
And this is different. These are contracts that are written from these sponsors, and there's just a lot of stuff that who knows what's in those contracts.
Yeah. So let's go back to 2019, where three athletes changed. What this says is three athletes changed everything. Now, I will say this: there were probably other athletes that helped get us to this place, but these three athletes are the ones that they give us to talk about. Alyssa Montano, Kara Goucher, and Allison Felix. Montano, Nike would pause her contract. So these are what these These are the key moments that happen between the athlete and the company they were with, or the sponsor who was paying them to run, essentially. Carrie Goucher forced into choosing between newborn and paycheck. So that's
rough.
That's big. Obviously, she chose newborn and then tried to get back too soon, it sounds like, because she suffered.
Yeah, I didn't look up a lot of details on that. So there's more there.
She was Nike as well, too, right?
I can't remember because I didn't. I apologize for that. I would like to have more information, but you'll have to.
I'm 90+% sure it's Nike because she kept her mouth shut about certain things with the whole drug use and all of that, and chasing and Galen Rupp and all that happened. And actually, I shouldn't say his name because he was in that era of Nike. And what was happening with Coach Salazar.
Oh,
that guy.
Yeah.
And all that stuff in the book that came out. And I don't remember if she did. Yeah, she has a book about it.
Okay.
I've actually got that book. A buddy of mine lent it to me. And I need to read that.
Yeah, because then we could talk about that book.
But it's, anyway, so yeah, I'm pretty sure she was Nike. And then Allison Felix offered 70% pay cut during pregnancy negotiations.
Just mean.
That's a big chunk. This wasn't hidden. It was just talked about. Or it wasn't talked about, I should say. Pregnancy was written into the contract, but it was also built into consciousness.
Consequences.
Oh.
So it was built in, like there was consequences.
There were built-in consequences for being pregnant. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, they kind of laid the foundation to get these things changed.
Yeah.
They basically stood their ground at some point, and finally these companies said, all right, we need to start doing some different things and change these. So these are kind of some of the things that came from that. Brands changed policies like Nike, Brooks, and others to an 18-month protection window where they would have 8 months pre-birth and 10 months post-birth. Where they could essentially, the contracts could all be different, right? But they would pause a contract and they could come back after. Because as an athlete, especially as a runner, you're paid to do well. Like some are influencer type, where you're an ambassador, but as an ambassador, you're not paid, right? Or most aren't. You're just kind of like, hey, here's a discount for being an ambassador.
Or free shoes. That would be.
Yeah. But these athletes are literally paid.
Yeah.
Like, this is their job. So it's a major difference. It looked to solve the problem with doing this. And on paper, everything looked like it changed. But contrast doesn't just change through policies, they change through wording. So they had to actually get this stuff written in and it does say, I don't remember if it's here or coming up, they're contracted workers. They're not like you go and they're not an employee. So they don't fall under this, they don't get all the same protections.
The rules are different.
Yeah.
For sure.
So fast forward a few years, now we have Emma Bates versus UCAN. And in March of 2026, Bates says that the sponsor UCAN dropped her after pregnancy disclosure. UCAN claims the decision was made months earlier in September of 2025. You and I questioned, we're like, well, what's her pedigree? Like, how good is she?
What's her resume?
And she's got a good one.
Yeah.
5th at 2020, 4 marathon, Boston, or 23 marathon, Boston Marathon. And then 2nd in Chicago in 21.
Yeah.
So
she's not slow.
She's not slow. She's quick. So she has the resume to back up getting paid well by some of these companies.
Yeah. And I started looking at this. I'm glad that we, because wanted to do an episode on it right away, but I thought, more is going to come about. So I kind of want to wait because I had an opinion right away. Like, oh, this is horrible. I still think it's pretty lousy, but there's more information. I wanted to make sure that I could talk about it from like, okay, what's really going on?
Yeah, I think that it's an unfortunate place to be for both, but in this day and age that we are in, and what has happened with like the three females that we just mentioned, Goucher, Felix, and what was the other one? Montano.
Yeah.
With the major companies that they were with, I think if you are a female athlete or a company that's going to be paying a female athlete, there's no reason for you not to have these discussions ahead of time,
right?
And have all this laid out.
Yeah, because
so that there isn't this kind of a situation.
It's 7 years later. It should be clear.
Yeah.
Like it should be in the contract. You know that you have a young runner.
And to me, so this speaks to, and this is where I start changing my mind a little bit, because initially my thought was, well, that's a decision made, and what's the company supposed to do? But given what has already taken place, and as you just mentioned, 7 years later now, if you're a company choosing to pay a female athlete, you have to have these discussions.
Yep.
If you're going to bury your head, you're going to suffer the consequences, as what UCAN is kind of doing now. And as you mentioned, they're facing some backlash for this. Sure. The cool thing is ASICS publicly confirmed they're actually supporting Bates through the pregnancy, which is kind of nice that it, kind of helps to balance things out for her. And as we'll mention a little bit later, she did pick up another sponsor, which is kind of cool. It does talk about a ghost clause. The pregnancy penalty didn't disappear. It just moved into the fine print. Again, I think if you're a company that's going to pay any female athlete, it's got to be up front. It's got to be like, it's not in fine print. Like, bring it forward. Why hide it?
In reality, and not to get too legal, athletes are independent contractors.
Mm-hmm.
They're not employees, no protection under Pregnancy Discrimination Act. Contracts often include failure to perform clauses.
Yeah.
So it's kind of rough business, really.
It is, but it's also so why is that black and white, but the pregnancy is not? You know what I'm saying? So like, we expect you to run a 2:20 or better marathon.
Yep.
Right. They're sitting down with these females, whoever, female, new runner, female. We expect you to perform at 2:20 or faster. Black and white. That's very clear, right?
Yeah.
Like, we want you to perform. Well, then why not say, hey, if you're going to have a family, let's talk about that.
Right.
And I don't know how that, but I'm not going to pretend how that discussion goes, because I could slip up and say something wrong here. But have that discussion. It's a female. Like, that, right? Talk about it.
Yeah. It needs to be negotiated.
Yeah.
Period.
Needs to be talked about. Because then it's not a surprise to anybody.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's not about whether pregnancy is allowed. It's about whether it's protected.
Yeah. As it is for a lot of companies.
Right.
And it probably, let's be honest, and it should be something that is, I don't know if protected is the right word. I guess that's the right word.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah.
Some examples they give of the comparison between men and women. Tiger Woods. I don't agree with these. I think these are different, but these are some examples. Tiger Woods lost sponsors after scandal/injury. Lance, but again, these are very, very different.
It's very different. It's hard to compare.
Lance Armstrong lost everything after doping. John Jones dropped after incidents, which was drugs and other substance abuse.
It's not even close to the same.
They're not the same. I don't get that.
We don't have a good comparison of men versus women. We don't. It's just not there.
I don't know if there is a good comparison, because injury is injury. That's different. That's performance-based.
Right.
So you can't even compare that. I just don't know.
So just for the, I don't know, as you're checking things out, we don't have a good comparison, men versus women.
But if you have one,
put
it in the comments. Let's talk about it. I just don't think that there's a good comparison.
The only thing I could think of is if a man asked for paternity leave that was a runner. That's the only comparison. So I don't know. And I don't know of any.
The thing is, but even that's not, I suppose, okay, so you could make the argument because I'm like, well, he can still train. So he can still keep up his performance. However, if there's a major race and you're expected to be at that race, let's say Boston, one of the big ones.
And your wife is due at that time.
And you have a child and you're expected to, whatever, you want to be home for that. Is that then protected? I think that's there we
the
go.
only thing I can think
a
of
little bit of something.
That's close. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yep. There is some brand fallout. I thought this was interesting. I'm glad you went and got this and brought it back in. The PR disaster, as it says. Since the story broke, UCAN has faced intense backlash on social media. Critics note that while they claim to support athletes at all stages, their actions with Bates created a tension that suggests otherwise.
I really like this part, the missed opportunity. Marketing experts argue that UCAN missed a massive opportunity to fuel Motherhood in Motion campaign. Instead of being the brand that supported a top marathon through the biggest life milestone, they are now labeled as a brand that dropped her.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's that cold or not, but the social media side of it is going to throw them under the bus. So they missed an opportunity.
Yeah. And it says, contrast this with ASICS, who immediately reaffirmed their support for Bates, turning a callous industry moment into a brand loyalty win. However, I will say this. I think that was easier for ASICS, who was not 70% of her income. And I don't know that they're 30%, but let's say they're only 20%. I'm sure she's not, that they're not. Those aren't the only two companies that pay her. If UCAN was 70% of her income, that's a big pill to swallow for them. Maybe there is something more they should have went to the table and talked about and said, hey, if you're going to start a family, we're going to need to, adjust the
we're going to move you into this program.
Yeah.
It's less money. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like.
The bigger picture, most runners are not pros. They're not sponsored, but this still matters because it shapes what the sport values. And I think that is, just thinking the community that is running is usually a pretty tight-knit community that supports each other. And so now you're choosing to say, you're out. See ya.
I tell you what, though, it matters to a lot of women that see that. I'm not going to buy their product.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. They do have a comparison between the WNBA. They do have legal protections that exist because they are actually employees of the team. So that is more of your standard, what you and I have as jobs.
Yep.
So there's a big difference there. As you mentioned, their runners are a contract. They renegotiate that contract, just like, well, I was going to say an NFL or NBA or WNBA team, but that's not true. That's their employees. So, and let's not forget the sponsor that picked her up. We wanted to mention who that was, and let me find that. Oh my goodness, how do I not have this up? Oh, Yesli. Yesli, it's funny because she just posted a Instagram story. She says, when one door closes, you gain a new sponsor that mirrors your excitement for your pregnancy.
I need to look up what Yesli is now.
Yeah, it's some water drink thing, but Yesli, Syesly. Yeah, I guess we should have looked up what that actually was. But at any rate, good for her. They picked her up and said, you know what? We're going to support you through this, and we're going to back you and take care of things.
Smart on them. Gets them right into the middle of it.
Yeah. So congrats for her. Have you ever had to navigate training, racing, or work around a major life change? How did the people around you respond? I think that's a great question. Let us know in the comments. Or do you think brands should require, and this is a good one too, do you think brands should require to protect athletes during pregnancy, no matter the situation? Let us know in the comments.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is going to wrap up this episode of the I Don't Know Running podcast. Be sure to tune in next time as we share more about what we just don't know.
Until then, happy running.